going on, Benny Metals fam? There you are again. It's been a minute. We're in the shop again, and today we are building this plant stand. This is my rustic plant stake stand, vertical stand. How cool is that? Came out pretty good. Now let's make it. Now look over here. Today we have to build a vertical plant stake rack. I was using this. This is more of a horizontal rack. I take this to all of my craft and vendor shows. I have this sitting in front of my table, and it works well. However, I already came out with another design for ladybugs, and now I don't even have enough slots in this one. But we got to start going vertical to save space, save real estate. I got 3 possible garden shops that I'm going to display my plant stakes in, and I'd like to be able to show them the vertical rack, and so they can see that it's not going to take up hardly any space. We're going to put it on the turntable, and then every side, we've got these tubes over here. These tubes got 4 sides, so all 4 sides are going to have tubes coming off to put the plant stakes in. You know what I'm saying? So here's the supplies I got. I got a 3x3 tube that we're going to cut down to whatever height we want. I've got some 1-inch round tubing that we're going to cut down and cut an angle so that we can weld it to the tubes. That'll be our holders for the plant stakes. And I got some Lazy Susans here. These say they hold up to, what did it say? It was like 200 pounds or 200 and some odd pounds. I don't even know where I saw that at. Oh, 400 pounds. So it'll hold up to 400 pounds. That's good. So we'll make 2 racks. I mean, we'll make 1 rack right now for sure, because I know one garden shop needs it by April 1st, and that's coming up. By the time you see this video, it may already be April 1st. I don't know. So we're gonna mark it out, figure out how tall we want it, and get going. I don't know, if I had a seat in my pants here. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. So at the very top, it's not gonna be that big. That's kind of an exaggeration. We're thinking like, I'm looking at probably like 6 inches by 6 inch square on the top of this. And I'm gonna have a QR code sticker just stuck on that. It'll be a flat piece of metal. One side will have my Facebook QR code, the other side will have my Linktree QR code. So here's your tube. We've got all of our tubes coming. This is the square tube. We got our round tubes coming off for our plant stakes will come out of here. And then we have, we'll have a metal plate welded to the Lazy Susan. And then on the bottom of the Lazy Susan, we're gonna have a big heavy duty plate over here. It's kind of rusted now, but we'll clean her up. We'll have a big, we'll put this big heavy, this is 3/16, and we'll just cut a big square out for the very bottom so that this thing doesn't tip over. That's the goal. I think 5's perfect. 5 foot's here, ladies, yeah. And then we'll have the QR code will be like right at your eyesight. So, but anyone looking at the rack, if they just look straight, they'll see the QR code and they'll be like, well, hopefully they'll be like, oh, I'll follow him on Facebook.
Right.
See what other cool stuff he's got, like these cool solar pillars that I'm still working on. So we are going to, is this the factory end? Yeah. This will make it a little bit easy for ourselves. We'll just keep one nice end because the other end had to be torched off, so we're not going to use that. We'll mark this baby at 5 foot. And of course, it don't have to be perfect. That's what's nice about these. Doing stuff for yourself, it doesn't have to be like spot on perfect measurements. I say 5 foot, but if I'm 5 foot 16th over, who's going to care?
Especially with a rustic looking plant stake.
Yeah, exactly. The more rustic, the better anyway. So we'll just keep flipping this heavy bastard. I'm gonna have to cut this with a cutoff wheel because I don't have a bandsaw yet. It's on the list, but I don't have a bandsaw yet, so I'm gonna have to cut this with a cutoff wheel. So I'm gonna try to get some really good marks on here. Hey, oh! That's so loud. Yeah, that is loud.
Yeah, I'm fully aware. My ears ringing.
Yeah, that is freaking loud.
I got you.
All right, I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take this end and I'm gonna burn out an end cap for now, just a rectangle or a square piece, and we're just gonna tack it on there for now. In the future, we might make something fancier, but for now, just to get one of these out, we're gonna go ahead and just make an end cap. So off to the plasma. So I'm just gonna make a rectangle here, and I'm pretty sure that that's 3 inches. So we'll do a 3-inch by 3-inch square. Now I could go crazy and put the radius on these corners, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and weld those corners. So it's just gonna melt that onto that tube anyway. So there's no point in matching the radius. Let's get our torch over here to where we can burn out a 3-inch square. I bet you we can get it right there in that corner. Yeah, look at that. Just double checking. Just double checking. All right, here we go. Ready?
Ready to roll.
Look at that, baby. There we go. Nice. I'm gonna hit it with the grinder real quick. My little magnetic plate. Oh, that's right. That other video didn't work out, so they don't know about this magnetic plate.
They sure
Look,
don't.
This is from Harbor Freight. These magnets, I bought 5 of these magnets from Harbor Freight. And then I screwed them to a piece of plywood. And I got a thin piece of, this is 16 gauge, but I think I wanted to go 20. I think this is 16. If this ain't 16, it's 22. You know what? I think it's 22 gauge galvanized. Anyway, thin steel, sticks on there. And then you can stick small parts on here, and it sticks pretty good. And then you can grind them, so your grinder doesn't shoot them across the shop. You know what I'm saying?
Who needs a vise?
And you don't cut your fingers all up like I did last time. Look at that. Nice and party. And we take it back over here and see if it fits. Look at that.
Round them off, good to go.
Won't even. I'm just gonna melt them right in there. I'm gonna hit it with the MIG welder and just melt those corners right in there.
Like a glove.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. So we'll do all the welding last. So that's good to go. Now we got to figure out the tubes. So we need to know how long the tubes are. Let's get something that's like their most oblong. This is probably the heaviest one I have. So that's gonna come in here like this. So we need that tube to be long enough to where this won't fall out. So I'm thinking, what are we thinking here? Let me see.
5 inches?
I was just thinking about 5 inches would probably be right on the money. Yeah, I think 5 inches is good.
Look at that call out. Just eyeballed it.
5 inches? Now I gotta pay you for that shit.
I threw a patent on it.
What?
I'm patenting part of this.
Yep. Figures. And you'll probably get all the money for it.
Royalties.
This is some lighter tube. This is 1 inch. And this is nice because this is called DOM. So there's no seam on the inside of this tube. It's completely smooth all the way around in there. So that'll help keep things from getting snagged on the seam or, you know, whatever. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these down at the 6-inch mark on the saw. Next investment is a bandsaw. I swear it. I swear it. The old mini Evolution saw. They make really nice Evolution saws now. They're like 12-inch blades or something on them. Oh,
really?
They're so nice. All right. Wow, it did not like that at all.
That one was way louder than the other one.
All right, I'll cut the rest of these up. I'm just gonna go ahead and run through these real quick, clean up the burrs, kind of soften the sharp edge up here a little bit, and go from there. Nah, it's quicker by hand. Quicker by hand with no guard. We got all of our tubes cut. We got them all cleaned up. And now we're just laying this tube out. We're gonna weld these on here. Well, first before we weld them on, we're gonna actually drill a 1/2-inch hole through this tube just to give us a little bit more. So when this flower stake goes into the tube, it's actually going to go through the 3-inch tube to the other side. So it sits in there a little farther, so it doesn't look like it's sticking out so far. It'll actually be, sticking out about that far. So it'll look a lot better. But we got to stagger these holes. This, we're going to go 1 inch. So whatever this measurement is, we already laid this one out. We're going to go 1 inch. So for example, this first hole is, the first hole we're going to drill is at 4.5, but the tube bottom is going to be at 5. So it's basically like 5 inches, then we're going to go 9 inches to the next one, 9 inches to the next one, 9 inches. So we're going to rotate it, and then instead of 5 inches on that one, we'll go 6 inches. So every time we rotate the tube, we're going to go another inch, so that all of the tubes are staggered. So when you have your plant stakes going into the 3-inch square tube, you're not gonna have this collision. So they'll all be staggered, and hopefully if we do it enough, I don't know if a 1 inch is going to be enough now that I'm looking at it like this, but
I think it might. Yeah.
All right, so we'll go 2 inches, right?
Right.
All right.
That works.
Yeah. So where'd my square go? I don't need my square. Where'd my tape measure? There you go. All right, so our first hole is 4.5. So we're going to go 6.5. All right. The next hole is 13.5. So we're going to go 15.5. The next hole is 22.5. So we'll go 24.5. And so on and so forth. So we're just going to mark out 2 inches off the next hole all the way around the tube. And then we're going to see how that works out. All right, let's drill some holes. Day 2, we didn't get it all done in one day like I thought we would.
That's all right.
Thought we were better than that. Anyway, so here's what we got. The holes I had to drill out to 1/2 inch, and then I used this stepper bit to get it. I used the stepper bit to get it up a little bit more. I think we went to 3/4, if I'm not mistaken. So those are 3/4 inch holes. And I've got the tubes already mitered. Those are going to get welded on over top of these holes. That just gives us a little bit extra for those rods to go in. Now these rods can go all the way in a little bit farther. It won't look like they're sticking out as far. But then these will get welded on. And then, boom, there you go. It'll look kind of neat. Look like a little tree with stakes coming out. So next is we got to put the plate on. We were talking about using one of these swivels, these Lazy Susans. These swivel real smooth and everything, but they're really chintzy, they're real thin. I'm still afraid that there's too much leverage on that pole that you're gonna wind up bending this thing all to heck. There's no real way to anchor this. There's no good way to anchor it. So we decided we're just gonna weld a plate on the bottom. We're gonna leave it like this. People can walk around it. Worst case, in the future, if I wanna add some wheels to the bottom of that plate, then you'll be able to roll the whole stand around if you want to. But for now, we're just gonna put a plate on the bottom. I got a plate over here, but it's covered in rust, but it don't matter. We're gonna cut it out, we'll clean it up. You'll never even know by the time we're done with it, hopefully. So this is all I got, but this is 3/16, so it's gonna be real heavy duty. So we'll cut I don't even know if we're gonna get 2 foot out of that.
I think might be able to get 2 out of it, right?
We got 20 inches.
Oh.
We were hoping for 2 foot. 20 inches might not be enough. Yeah, it might be. We'll go 20 inches.
That'll work.
20 is still pretty big. So we'll cut a 20-inch plate for the bottom, and yeah, we'll go from there. I'll weld it on there. We went ahead and we cut this plate out. I think this will be a good size. That's 20 inches. But when this is in the middle, it's not horrible.
No.
And I definitely think we have the stability now where this rack, if it's full of plant stakes, you're talking, what, 20? 20 plant stakes all the way around. It could get kind of top heavy, Maybe, I don't know. It shouldn't go anywhere now, though. But in order to paint this thing, I got to put a hole in here so I can hang it in the oven. Once I get the top on, I'm going to have another flat square piece up here at the top for my QR code. I'll drill a hole in the corner of that, and that way we'll have 2 points where we can hang it in the oven. So we're gonna drill a 1/4 inch hole in the plate right now. We got the bottom plate cut, got our 1/4 inch hole drilled. We're just gonna tack this thing on, and this thing's gonna start getting heavier and heavier. I can already feel it.
Oh yeah.
Heavier and heavier. Let's go, baby. Hope it don't fall over on my head. I think I'm just gonna weld the corners. Like, I'm not trying to weld this thing all the way around. That way, if any water decides it wants to get in there, it can leach out through the, yeah.
Both times you did that, I stared directly at it like, what is he doing? And after the first one, I was like, okay, you're stupid.
Yeah.
And the second one I did it again, I was like, all right, that's...
Yeah. We got the bottom plate welded on. It ain't my best work, but I had a gust of wind come in and mess my weld up. But anyway. All right, we got the top cap cut. I think we showed that before, I think. I don't remember. Okay, so the top cap's done. That's gonna get tacked on there. And then I'm gonna have another something. It might just be let me try to find something that's, this isn't it, but I'm putting a square on here so it'll like resemble this. I'm gonna have my QR code stuck on one side, like 2 QR codes. One will be for like my Facebook, one will be for my link tree that'll have everything else on it.
I like that size.
So, yeah, I'm actually thinking that's pretty good, right?
That's a good size. That's a good size.
And it's good because it's like, it's right at eye level.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see it. You're gonna see that giant QR code. I'm gonna fill the whole space with the QR code. But I'm thinking just tack it right to the plate. I don't need to like have it elevated up on some little fancy little tube or anything like that. I think just tack it right there. Okay, so we're gonna weld this on, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna weld all of these tubes on so we can start getting this thing looking like a neat little display tree here. Yeah, I don't really want to weld it fully solid. I want to make sure that any moisture that gets on it has somewhere to go. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave it pretty much all tacked up. I'll grind those little nubbies down a little bit. And now we got to get these on, which I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna weld kind of a little bit down each side. It's pretty good. Like that. Once it's all painted black, you really won't, the welds won't pop out. Won't stick out to you that much. We got all the tubes welded on. This came out really cool. Kind of looks like an actual like tree. It's pretty neat. But that's basically how they're gonna be. You know. That tape gets stuck in there. I gotta wash that tape. So anyway, that's how it's gonna be. We're gonna put this on the top. Well, not this, but this size I think is a good size. So we'll just figure out whatever this size is.
Package over there, you could just look at the dimensions on the package.
I could.
Or that too.
6 by 6.
It's a longer walk.
It don't matter. How many different ways are there to skin a cat?
I don't know.
I think there's only really one. I mean, why would you, first of all, why would you skin a cat? It's kind of weird. All right, let's go. Let's move this sucker.
Yeah.
And they are so geeky looking. Like they're wearing like these shorts and shit, and they're like
Angus.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm like, what?
Angus specifically.
Here we are. There's the little plate. Cleaned it up. Cleaned up my corners. I didn't like how those corners, the welds were just all sticking out there. So I cleaned up the corners. We're just gonna tack this baby on here. Sure that's straight. That's good enough. You know, Brett here wants me to get it laser engraved and all kinds of crazy shit, but you know, it's going in a greenhouse. So we're just gonna stick a sticker on there for now. Going forward, maybe. Maybe if I do like some, what are those, like
we got ideas
expos or something.
Got some ideas for the base and all of that, but that's
yeah.
future.
Yeah.
Future.
Yeah, but dude, check it out. So that's basically it. All we gotta do now is paint it. All we gotta do now is powder coat it. I'll clean up a little bit more like the BB spatter from the welding on there. All the boring stuff, I'll do some of that. Like I'll clean all this up I just made up here. But that's pretty cool. I mean, I gotta make a few more of these, but this one is definitely going into a greenhouse, DJ's greenhouse, which is in Transfer, Pennsylvania. So anyone local, this will be sitting there. Benny Metals original. All my plant stakes will be in there. So yeah, all right, well, let's get her into paint. All right, here we go. Let's check it out. It's been cooking in there for about 25 minutes. Oh, she's a beauty.
She's a beaut. It's a little toasty coming out of there.
Yeah, it feels good though. Well, since it's so big and heavy, we're just gonna let it hang in there and cool off on its own. There it is. Look at that. That thing looks sweet. That looks epic. Let me shut the door. Let me get a little bit more light on it.